We're nearly there. It's been a relentless first 2 months of the new European season, and the main stage sits just around the corner, with the final team set to be confirmed very soon. It's a new era of the continental competitions, with a new format that increases the total main stage teams up to 108 across the UEFA Champions League, UEFA Europa League and UEFA Conference League, placed into single-table league phases of 36 teams each. We know the names of 42 of those sides already, with 29 already booked into the UCL and 13 being automatic qualifiers to the UEL. Over the final 2 weeks of August, we'll find the other 7, 23 and 36 qualifiers respectively. It's the playoff round, the last chance for some to continue their European campaign into the new year, with others knowing that even if they do lose at this stage, they at least get a potentially more favourable league phase in the competition directly below. The UEFA Champions League playoff round retains its two-path format. Its Champions Path features 10 league champions that are split into 5 ties and features 4 new entrants to this year's competition. They are the title holders of Serbia, Turkey, Switzerland and Croatia. The parallel league path is much smaller, just 4 teams split into 2 ties, with winners progressing into the UCL league phase and losers join the 5 beaten Champions Path teams in the UEL league phase. In the UEFA Europa League, a previously split qualifying route unites into one single playoff round. It's a 24-team stage, featuring the 13 qualifiers from the Champions Path and Main Path of the third qualifying round, alongside the 6 losers from the Champions League third qualifying round Champions Path and 5 new entrants. These latest additions to the European season are the third-ranked teams from Belgium, Scotland, Austria and Serbia, as well as the reigning Turkish Cup holders. The UEFA Conference League playoff round mirrors the Champions League's format of 2 separate paths. Its Champions Path contains just 10 teams split into 5 ties, featuring the 4 winners from the third qualifying round and the 6 teams beaten in the Europa League third qualifying round Champions Path. The Main Path is the largest section of the entire playoff round, a 38-team, 19-tie group that includes 26 qualifiers from the previous round, 7 demoted teams from the Europa League and 5 new entrants. It's these new competitors that could well be considered the big hitters of this season's Conference League, as they are the sole qualifiers from UEFA's 5 highest-ranked associations: England, Spain, Germany, Italy and France. In total, across all 3 competitions, there are 86 teams featuring in playoff rounds this season. Among those 86 are 14 new entrants, the upper levels of UEFA's association ranking, with the Big 5 leagues and the supposed B-tier divisions all featuring representatives. From those 14 new entrants, I've been able to pick out 6 of notable interest, 2 from each of the Champions League, Europa League and Conference League. In this final video of the mini-series, we're going to take a closer look at them and the stories that have got them entering the final stage of European men's club qualifying. Running through in an alphabetical order, here are 6 teams to watch out for in UEFA's playoff rounds. Erster SC Heidenheim 1846, Germany, UEFA Conference League. Germany's lone entrant into the UEFA Conference League for this season is a surprise package. This is a football club from Heidenheim an der Brenz in Baden-Württemberg, a town of around not much more than 50,000 people. Heidenheim are the now separate football section of Heidenheimer Sportbund, a large multi-sports club that was founded back in 1972, but has origins that go way back further to 1846. The club's football department originally formed in July 1890, taking the name VfR Heidenheim in August 1922. There's a long history of renaming and separation, but led to the football department joining the newly formed Sportbund in 1972, operating largely as a lower league and amateur league outfit. Heidenheim's time in the spotlight has come since the turn of the century. It was back in 2007 that the football department split away from Heidenheimer Sportbund and became a legally independent club, then playing in Germany's 5th tier. Progression up to the 4th tier was instant, and promotion to the 3rd tier, Dritte Liga, came the following year. The Zweite Bundesliga would be reached in 2014, and in 2023, a second-place finish earned Heidenheim a maiden season in the Bundesliga. They would absolutely smash it. Led by head coach Frank Schmidt, a former player who has been at the helm of the club since the 2007 split, Heidenheim recorded 42 points from 34 games, pipping both SV Werder Bremen and SC Freiburg on goal difference to claim the league's Europa Conference League spot, taking advantage of Germany gaining an extra Champions League place through their 23-24 European performances. It means that the clubs from southern Germany, beginning only their 2nd ever season at the top level, also make a debut in European competition, entering just a stage below the league phase and a guaranteed 6 more matches. Their playoff round tie in late August sees them face Swedish club BK Häcken. The Germans host the second leg of the tie, doing so at their Voith Arena. Known alternatively as the Albstadion, it's a 15,000 capacity stadium that dates back to 1972, taking its modern look after a 2013 renovation. Chelsea, England, UEFA Conference League. Without doubt, the biggest name you will find at this stage of European qualifying. The West London club are making a return to Europe after a season without it in 23-24, somehow earning a 6th place Premier League finish despite a very topsy-turvy campaign. It would have been a Europa League spot for the Blues had Manchester United not won the FA Cup at the end of the season. Chelsea Football Club are her historic side, a capital team that dates back to 1905, founded by brothers Gus and Joseph Mears to provide a football club to the athletics ground they had recently bought. Though they're officially based in the borough of Fulham, the existence of a club already named Fulham prompted the use of an adjacent borough's name for the new team, Chelsea. The Blues have pedigree from throughout the 20th and 21st centuries, with 6 top-flight titles, 8 FA Cups and 5 League Cups among their list of domestic honours. Their true golden era has come since the turn of the century, launched by the arrival of Russian oligarch Roman Abramovich back in 2003. In the period since, Chelsea have won 5 Premier League titles, 5 FA Cups, 3 League Cups, 2 UEFA Champions League titles, 2 UEFA Europa League titles, 1 UEFA Super Cup and the FIFA Club World Cup back in 2021. Coupled with a pair of UEFA Cup Winners' Cup titles from the 20th century, they are one of only 5 clubs to have the classic European treble. The others are Ajax, Bayern Munich, Juventus and Manchester United. With the creation of the UEFA Conference League, there is now a new trophy to add to the European set, and Chelsea could be the first to complete it this season. The Blues are nowadays under the ownership of the consortium Blueco, chaired by Todd Bowley, who has found some interesting ways to pump money and new players into the club. A new head coach as well for this season in Leicester City's Enzo Maresca. How does it all go? Who honestly knows? All we can say for now is that the financial big hitters of Chelsea have one tie to get through in order to reach the Conference League main stage. Their opponents in this playoff round tie are Swiss side Servette SC, who have dropped down to the UEFA Europa League main path after losing to Portugal's SC Braga. Chelsea will host the tie's first leg at their historic home. Stamford Bridge dates all the way back to 1877, starting out as an athletics venue and becoming a football stadium when its lease was acquired by the Mears brothers in the mid-1900s. It is nowadays one of England's most iconic stadiums, holding 40,173 people and having many standout external features, including the Chelsea Village immediately south, where hotels, bars and restaurants can be found. Crvena Zvezda, Serbia, UEFA Champions League. Crvena Zvezda is the official name of this Serbian giant, but you probably know it better by its Anglophobe name, Red Star Belgrade. Zvezda are the unmatched kings of not just Serbian football, but football in all of the Balkans. A record 35 national titles, which covers the days of the People's Republic of Serbia, Yugoslavia, Serbia and Montenegro, and independent Serbia. 10 league titles since the latter became a thing. They have also won 28 national cups over the same decades-long period, and most notably achieved European success in 1991 when they beat Olympique de Marseille on penalties to win the European Cup. Crvena Zvezda date back to March 1945, formed by a group of young students after Serbian football clubs had dissolved during the Second World War. The Red Star name was picked among a list of candidates, going on to be adopted as a symbol of Serbian nationalism within Yugoslavia itself. The club has remained at the summit of Balkans football throughout the years since, playing a big part in the development and success of Yugoslavian and later Serbian teams on both the European and international stage. The club remains the most popular in all of Serbia, maintaining a fierce rivalry with city neighbours FK Partizan, with matches between them labelled as the Eternal Derby. Since the era of the UEFA Champions League began in the 1990s, Crvena Zvezda have reached its main stage on 3 previous occasions, most recently qualifying for the final group stage format in 2023-24. To reach the debut league phase, the Serbian champions will have to overcome a 2-legged tie with Norwegian title holders Bøder Glimt. They have hosting rights to the second leg of the tie, doing so at their iconic home, the Stadion Rajko Mitic. It runs under a couple of other names, namely the Stadio Crvena Zvezda and the Maracanã. It's the largest stadium in the country, a giant red bowl that seats 53,000 and is named for club legend Rajko Mitic. Mitic was a forward who captained the team in its early years, scoring 262 goals in 572 matches in red and white. He was the first man to be awarded the Star of Red Star, given by the club to players who have had a significant impact on the team and helped make the Red Star name famous around the globe. Crvena Zvezda have been based at the Belgrade ground since 1963, with the stadium a commonplace for Serbia international matches since their 2006 independence. Dinamo Zagreb, Croatia. UEFA Champions League. From one famous Balkan football club to another, if Crvena Zvezda are the kings of Serbian football, Dinamo Zagreb are the Croatian equivalent. Dinamo formed as Građanski back in 1911, at a time where Croatia was still part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. It was a sports club that included sections dedicated to football, handball and cycling, focused on a distinctly Croatian identity and regularly touring to friendly matches in other parts of Europe. Građanski would come to an end as an entity after the Second World War, a decision forced by communist authorities. Just days later, though, came a new sports club, SD Dinamo, and its football section would form soon after, with influence from the previous Građanski setup. In the era of the Yugoslav Football League system, Dinamo would win 9 First League titles and 8 Yugoslav Cups, one of only 3 Croatian clubs to win these major pieces of silverware during a period where the Belgrade pair of Partizan and Red Star were the strongest competition. It was during this period that minor European success also came as victors of the Intercity Stairs Cup in 1967. By 1992, Yugoslavia had dissolved, Croatia had become an independent nation, and its own top league had been launched with Dinamo one of its founding members. A brief name change to reference Građanski was changed in 1993, with the club renaming itself to Croatia Zagreb, aiming to distance the team and Zagreb community from its communist past. Supporters of the club were never really accepting of the new name though, and the classic Dinamo Zagreb name returned to use in February 2000. Dinamo have truly dominated Croatian football since independence. There have been 33 full seasons of the HNL since its first in 1992, and Dinamo have won the title in 25 of those campaigns, in turn collecting a record 17 Croatian football cups and winning the Croatian Super Cup on a record 8 occasions. Dinamo entered 24-25 on a run of 7 consecutive league titles, having won the league in all but one season since 2005-06. That stability at the summit of the domestic game means regular European qualification, coupled with occasional runs that have greatly boosted the Croatian coefficient when compared to other European leagues. Dinamo have made the UEFA Champions League group stage 8 times since their first in 1998, but as of writing are yet to make it to the knockout stages of that competition. If unsuccessful in Champions League qualifying though, you can usually expect Dinamo Zagreb to be present in one of Europe's other competitions instead. They have appeared in the UEFA main stage in every season since 2018-19, peaking with a run to the UEFA Europa League quarter-finals in 2021, and just last season made the round of 16 in their debut UEFA Conference League campaign. There'll be no Conference League for Dinamo Zagreb this year though. It's either win this playoff round tie against Azerbaijan champions Karabag and progress into the UCL League phase, or lose and drop down into the UEL League phase. The Croatian champions hold the first leg of the tie at the Stadion Maksimir. Named for the surrounding neighbourhood within Zagreb, the Maksimir dates back to 1912, officially the largest stadium in Croatia with a maximum capacity of 35,423. We're waiting to see that maximum capacity return at the moment though, as an earthquake back in March 2020 has affected the East Stand and led to a current interim capacity of 25,912 for both Dinamo and Croatia international matches. Hearts Midlothian, Scotland, UEFA Europa League. Known much more simply as Hearts, the Edinburgh club are one of the oldest in all of Scotland, dating back to 1874, with a name that was influenced by Walter Scott's novel The Heart of Midlothian. Midlothian is a historic Scottish county that emerged back in the Middle Ages. Hearts was formed by a group of friends from the Heart of Midlothian Quadrille Assembly Club, playing local rules football within Edinburgh. They would become members of the Scottish Football Association in 1875, participating in the Scottish Cup for the first time and becoming a founding member of the Scottish Football League in 1890. Hearts are one of Scotland's most historic sides, 4-time national champions, 8-time winners of the Scottish Cup and 4-time winners of the Scottish League Cup. Like all of the sides outside of the dominant pair of Rangers and Celtic though, their top-level success comes well before the modern-day era. Their last top-flight title was all the way back in 1960, and they have only won the Scottish Cup twice since the turn of the 21st century, most recently in 2012. Hearts' history isn't fully at the top level of Scottish football though. There have been times where the Jam Tarts have had to fall into the second tier, one brief spell coming recently in 2020. It was the result of a controversial ending to the 2019-20 season, when the Scottish FA chose to suspend the campaign with 30 of the 38 total games played. Hearts were relegated in 12th position on a points per game average, with more than enough matches left to potentially catch and overtake at least one of the teams that was directly above them. That period in the Scottish Championship would only last a single season though. Title winners by 12 points in 2021 and responding with an immediate third place and Europa League qualification in 21-22. They have since finished fourth and third in the following two full Scottish Premiership seasons, staking a claim to be considered the best of the rest in Scottish football right now. Hearts' European history is vast, playing their first European campaign in the European Cup back in 1958. They don't have a particularly exceptional record on the continent though, their most memorable season being in the UEFA Cup in 1988-89 when they reached the quarter-finals and fell narrowly to German giants Bayern Munich. In the modern era, they've been limited to just two main stage appearances, the UEFA Cup group stage in 2004-05 and the UEFA Europa Conference League group stage in 2022-23, failing to progress in either year. The good news for the Hearts, though, is that 24-25 guarantees them a third main stage appearance. Entering in the Europa League playoff round, they'll appear in the UEL League phase if they win their tie against Czech club Viktoria Pilsen, or drop down into the UECL League phase if they lose. Hearts and Midlothian host the crucial second leg of the Europa League tie, doing so at their historic Tynecastle Park. The maroon ground in the Gorgie area of Edinburgh dates all the way back to April 1886, taking its modern-day look in 2017 after a long-awaited reconstruction of its main stand. The stadium presently holds 19,852 people, making it the sixth largest football stadium in Scotland. LASK, Austria, UEFA Europa League. Wrapping up our playoff round video are Linzer Athletic Sport Club, better known as LASK. LASK are a 116-year-old team based in the Upper Austria state capital of Linz, the oldest football club in that region of Austria. Die Schwarzweißen formed back in 1908 under the name Linzer Sport Club, taking its current name in September 1919. They were turned professional in 1950 and in 1965 became the first club outside of Vienna to win the Austrian top flight title, completing a double that year with victory in the Austrian Cup. That 64-65 season remains the only time though that LASK have lifted the country's most major silverware. It's a club that has spent periods involved in both the first and second tiers of Austrian football, most recently playing outside the Bundesliga in 2016-17. LASK have come relatively close to reaching the very summit in the years since though, finishing as runners-up in 2018-19 and losing out to dominant force Red Bull Salzburg again in the 2021 Austrian Cup final. Nonetheless, an improved status as one of the next best in Austrian football has handed LASK a number of European campaigns since 2018, regularly reaching the group stages of either the Europa League or the Conference League. The peak season remains 2019-20, where they dropped from Champions League qualifying into the Europa League, won their group, beat Dutch side RZ 3-1 on aggregate, and ultimately fell on aggregate to Manchester United in the round of 16. In 24-25, they're guaranteed a part in the debut league phase of either the Europa League or the Conference League. It will all depend on how their playoff round tie goes against Romanian champions SCSB. The Austrians host the first leg at the Raiffeisen Arena, one of the newest, most modern stadiums in the country. Built on the site of the old Linzer Stadion, which had been in use between 1952 and 2021, the Raiffeisen Arena is a 19,080 capacity stadium in southwest Linz, opened only back in February 2023. Immediately by the ground sits the Tips Arena Linz, which includes a 200-metre synthetic track and space for 8,755 people. That was 6 teams to watch out for in UEFA's playoff rounds. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the Matchday Man for future videos. There's plenty more to dive into as the European season progresses. I'll see you then.